So how many tattoos do you think you have now?
I see it as one tattoo, so I wouldn't be able to count. Yeah, people always say I look like a melted crayon. I grew up in a household, my parents, they worked in art, and I was surrounded by colourful paintings. My mum painted our bedroom like bright colours, and I was surrounded by creative, bright coloured things. And when I first started getting tattoos, I was just like, I like colour. My first one was this little paw print. Christina Perri. It was in her brother's tattoo shop, and I had no idea. We actually ended up making music together and touring together in the future, but it was in her brother's tattoo shop in 2010. I just turned 18 and I was legal to get a tattoo, so I walked into this shop. I'd drawn this paw print on me for about 3 or 4 years every day with permanent marker, and I was like, that's gonna be my one tattoo and I'll get no more. Obviously that didn't last. Actually, I got these with Christina Perri. I was just about to play Madison Square Garden for 3 times. I was told by my dad, like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere in the world, and it's quite a significant thing for me to come here and play 3 nights. My grandfather was a boxer and worked in boxing as well, and Madison Square Garden is sort of synonymous with boxing, so that's why I got 3 boxing gloves. My grandfather had also just passed away, so it's kind of part and parcel of that. This was 2012, October. I featured on Taylor's album Red. I got it to signify that. It was actually before, I think I hadn't been asked to be on the Red Tour at that point. Maybe this clinched it. And then I went on the Red Tour, and that was a year of my life living in America. So it's quite a significant tattoo of that time.
What did she think of the tattoo?
I can't remember actually. I imagine at the time being like, why are you doing that? My favourite tattoo, my daughter drew a little bunny rabbit and I got that tattooed. So that's probably my favourite one at the moment, just because it's always covered up, no one else sees it, but it's something that I look at every day. I've got my kids' footprints on my back. When they were born, we got their footprints and I put them in little squares. After going to Antarctica, which is possibly the most amazing place on the planet, it's really blew my mind. Seeing the orcas for the first time when they come out of the water is really breathtaking. Also, when you're going into Antarctica, you see the first penguin and you're like, oh my God. And then by the end of it, you're just like, penguins, they're just everywhere. It's just like, oh, it's another fucking penguin. But that is what my daughter is named after, Antarctica. I mean, they're all kind of meaningful, but in terms of most meaningful, I'd say this little #1 finger for my friend Michael, who passed away, and then this little SBTV for my friend Jamal that passed away. And I wanted to have them on my guitar playing hand just so they're always there, because they've both been involved in my career in quite big ways. I met Damien Rice when I was super young. I'd gone to an under-18 show with my cousin in Dublin. I met him afterwards in the bar. He was just there having a pint, and I went up and spoke to him, and it was before I'd started writing songs or really taking that seriously, and that was the turning point of my life, really. Have you seen the album cover for O? Anyway, it's 2 little stick drawings, and then it says Damien Rice over the 2 little stick drawings, and he took my album and signed it, and then drew a little stick drawing of me with a plane above me, because I'd flown over with my dad to Ireland. That's essentially stick drawing me with the plane, kind of where my career started, essentially. Something that I wanted to get for a while was the lyrics, everything that happens is from now on, from Restacks. I'd spoken to Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol about it, and we were both like, that's our favourite lyric, we should get that tattooed. And I was like, if I ever meet him, I'll get to write it in his handwriting. He was playing in Suffolk, which is where I live, and I managed to get to meet him. And so I got it in handwriting, I got it tattooed, and Gary decided that he didn't want to get it done. But Gary doesn't have any tattoos either. I think I'm a bit more free with skin.
I also heard you have a matching tattoo with Harry Styles.
Yeah, I think he's tattooed over his. It wasn't so much matching. I got the little Pingu penguin, and he got Pingu written. But I think he's covered it with an anchor, which obviously looks a bit cooler. I was doing the video for Galway Girl with Saoirse Ronan. She tattoos me in the video, and I said to her, it'd be funny if we misspell it, Galway Grill. I think I said in an interview that she'd spelt it wrong, and then that went round that she'd spelt it wrong, but we had planned it. Saoirse did actually tattoo me. I don't think she's given a tattoo since. I think this is the sole Saoirse tattoo. I'm a big fan of the TV show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I was making this sleeve and getting tattoos in significant places that I was travelling. So I got, the Heinz ketchup in Pittsburgh and the koala in Australia. I was like, what do I get for Philly? And I got Prince. I was on tour with Rixton, they're 4 lads, and we were on tour. And in Great Britain, there's like a phrase of when you're going out drinking with the lads, you're lads on tour. And I was like, oh, we're lads on tour, we should get lads on tour tattooed. Yeah, it's about as basic as it can be, but yeah. I was playing Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium is the biggest stadium that we have in the UK. I didn't know I would be playing a stadium ever. I didn't even think I'd be playing arenas. I thought I was a theatre artist, and I sold out 3 Wembleys in 2015 for the first time. The Wembley is the home of English football. The crest of English football is 3 lions, so I wanted to get something connected with that. I still think it's the biggest achievement of my life, playing Wembley Stadium. So I got plus, multiply, divide and subtract tattooed around my wrist. I had the plan of the mathematics from like 2010 in my head. That was the plan of the albums that I was going to do, plus, multiply, divide and subtract. The equals came in there a bit later, but the next symbols have been on my arm for 13 years as well, and I start that series next year. I guess that's kind of Prison Break of me, isn't it? Just clues. Most painful tattoo by far was Sagrada Familia. 8 hours of just like, they do the tattoo needle with like 20 needles and it's just scraping in. It was grim, like grim. I think tattoos hurt more the more you get. Like your first one, I remember getting this and being like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And I feel the older I'm getting, maybe it's just because I'm getting older, but someone said it's the more you get tattoos, that your body is saying, please stop doing this. And the more you get it, the more it's saying, please just fucking stop doing this.